Aaron, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if it's on mute.
Great start. Great start.
I was
Brilliant.
like, it's my headphones. It's my headphones. Be cool. Be cool. No, it's Aaron.
As always, it's all about the technical prowess of our wonderful skills here. And I'm just showing to the world exactly what it's like to start a podcast with your mic muted. So, as I was saying, a good day and a warm welcome to everyone here at The Going Concern. It's our third outing, Rachel. Can't believe it, to be fair. We've finally managed to get ourselves that pilot episode out. And now we're kind of old hats at it now, I'd say. So, The Going Concern, a fortnightly talk show podcast where we answer your questions. That's right. It's all about you and your questions. Every 2 weeks, we hang around these microphones to talk about all your wonderful questions of issues, which include the weird, the wacky, and the wonderful itself. I'm one of your hosts, I'm Patrick, a chartered accountant and owner of an accounting firm called Boffix, a QuickBooks certified trainer with a fancy new logo, and also that QuickBooks chap on YouTube. And join me as my co-host, the one and only Rachel, with probably a microphone that's actually working.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be with you today. So I'm Aaron's co-host, and I actually have a co-host. This is the wonderful Albert. I am the least imaginative person in the world, and he's called Albert because we got him from the Royal Albert Hall. But I thought my YouTube recording space looked a little bit empty, and the chair looked empty. So he is my mascot, my co-host. He's great company, as you can tell. And yeah, so we're really, really excited to be with you today. So my name is Rachel, and I am a TEDx speaker. I'm an author, I'm a business owner, and most importantly for today, I am an accountant. So I am the founder of the female-led accountancy practice, Accountant She, and I am director of the accountancy practice, Strivex. Today, we have got another cracker in store for you. But first of all, we'll just run through exactly how it works and how you can get involved during, before, and after the show. So we are live to the world at our regular time of 12:30 UK time every other Thursday. So if you're watching this back at a later time, have a think about joining us live, popping us in your diary so you don't miss it, or subscribing so you get a notification and you can be involved with the show completely live and ask us questions via the chat box. So this show really is for you guys. This is an access all areas session where you really can ask us anything. We're now live on the podcasting services all around the globe, so you can feel free to subscribe on your podcasting service of choice. We have got some absolute belters of questions in store for you today, covering off accountancy software, how to get a job, cryptocurrency, what exams to do in which order, social media and business, and making tax digital. So really, really, really juicy stuff. So Aaron, are you ready for the first question?
I was born ready, Rachel. Let's get straight into that mailbag.
Cool. So, first question is, I currently work in industry. Hopefully I will be finishing my AAT in a couple of months' time. Long-term career-wise, I'm thinking of moving from industry to practice as it might be a better fit. Is it possible to move from industry to practice?
That's a really good question, isn't it? And it follows a theme, basically, of what we were talking about this time 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? So a bit of a plug there. If you haven't listened to last 2 weeks ago on, do make sure you get yourself on there. But basically, from our point of view and what we were talking about last time, and to help this particular person, then of course you can move from being an industry accountant to a practice accountant. I think the most important thing to kind of get your head around, though, is making sure, I suppose, really that it's the right fit for you, because there's going to be some real big changes and differences in the way that you actually approach your work and what your work expectations are going to be. And also one of the big ones is salary as well, especially in the early stages. It's very much a case that in industry, technically most of the time you get paid that little bit more than you do from a practice. So, you might have to take maybe a pay cut, or, set your salary expectations a little bit lower, whatever that's going to be, especially in the early stages of career. So yeah, you might want to just kind of think of it about there. But the good news is, accountant's an accountant, and the skill sets are still going to be there for you. And one of the things I think that you'll find will be in your benefit is that when it comes to business awareness, so understanding how business works, what to expect, what to talk about, having those conversations with clients and understanding their needs, then because you've come from an industry background, I think you'll actually be really well suited for that. And I think you'll be able to bring a lot of information, a lot of conversation to the table. So yeah, you can definitely move one way or another. But yeah, have a look into it, have a think about. I know we've got, spoiler alert, but we're going to got a similar sort of question about qualifications and stuff later, so we'll cover it then. But I think from a career point of view, you'll have absolutely no problem moving from industry to practice if that's what works for you. But do think about it in terms of what you enjoy. What do you think, Rachel? What's your
Yeah, I completely agree. The second person we ever hired came from industry and moved over to practice, and she is phenomenal. Like, she honestly is so good, so good. I'm her biggest fan, as if you can't tell. I am her biggest fan, but so many of the skills that she learned in industry, firstly, are different to practice, and secondly, like, she's found a way to leverage that difference and really make a difference to what we do internally. So like, having that, they are such different jobs, and actually it's more about what you choose to do with that knowledge. So you could apply it to a situation and think, I've got absolutely no experience, or you could apply it to a situation and think, I actually understand how the client feels in this situation. Like, I've been inside the business doing it from the inside, so now actually it's much easier for me to review the set of accounts, prepare the set of accounts, and really make a difference to the business owner. So yeah, absolutely, it will not put you at a disadvantage at all. I think any like open-minded business owner or accountancy practice owner, when hiring, would really see it as an advantage. And it's more about how you sell it. Like anything, you know, it's as much what you make of it as possible. So it definitely isn't a disadvantage. You could definitely leverage it to make it an advantage too.
Yeah, because you got to think as well, like, if you're really got those skill sets nailed as being from in that industry standard, and you have, you know, you're really good at making sure all the numbers line up and your attention to details really, you know, on top of it, and you can see why putting this particular transaction can affect this, and you can see kind of the kind of start to end, then I think you're gonna have all the kind of main skills there. All you really got to adapt is how to start thinking about it from outside. So what does it affect, and how, you know, all those sort of conversation topics. And
there's definitely things that you can do to make yourself more attractive to practice as opposed to industry. So say you work in industry and they use a really big sort of clunky feeling industry accountancy software like SAP or Sage, and it's quite different to what we would use in practice. Go online, get yourself certified on Xero, certified on QuickBooks, watch all of Aaron's YouTube videos. Like, you can, any gap that you spot on your own CV or in your own work experience, fill it yourself. Like, show people that you are proactive. Say, like, I actually only have experience on SAP, but I've done my I've done the module with AAT or ACCA on software. I am Xero certified, I'm QuickBooks certified, like all of this stuff. So if you do know that there's a gap, or you feel a bit insecure about a certain subject or placeholder on your CV, fill it. Find a way to fill it, and ask people for help. Ask, you know, come to sessions like this and then get your money's worth. Like, ask all of the questions that you can and really leverage it. So yeah.
And I think, I suppose the only preparation you should do from an interview point of view is be prepared to be asked, why wasn't it for you? Like, what did you not like about the industry? Or, you know, what is it that you're looking to find from going into practice? Because that's going to be where, from an interviewee point of view, they're going to be really wanting to understand that, because what they don't want to do is, you know, take a punt at someone who then decides actually industry was better and I want to go back. So, you know, try and get those sort of conversations, try and get those sort of reasons right, so that you can go in and make sure that you put your best foot forward in the interview. But yeah, good luck with it. I think I would never turn down someone who's been in industry and wants to come to practice. More the merrier, to my point.
All right, Aaron, next question.
Okay, so how about this for a question? How can I get a job after ACCA part qualified? So what's the next steps, Rachel? Go for it.
Good question. So again, I would definitely fill gaps. So if you are ACCA part qualified and you have no practical experience, there's lots of things that you can do to do that. And again, it's becoming certified in all of the online softwares. You could reach out to people and get some work experience. And we take loads of work experience people too. I know Aaron does too. It's a really great way for us to learn as practice owners how to develop members of the team. So we, for example, we have such an influx of people that want to come for work experience, and we also have young accountants that we want to train to be managers. So like it goes hand in hand, and it's our job as the business owner to really help you to get the experience that you need. And make an investment in people. You know, every person that we take for work experience, we're thinking, could this be the next hire? Like, have we just saved ourselves recruitment fees? Yes, we have. So yeah, reach out for work experience, get as much software experience as you possibly can, make connections, network, like go to events, come onto events like this, really try and immerse yourself in the industry to make sure that you feel really confident and like in tune with what is happening. But it's important to say that like being ACCA part qualified is a really big career milestone for you. The next milestone is becoming a chartered accountant. This is a really big step. It's something that is very attractive to us as employers, and getting experience like should be pretty straightforward for you. Like nail the CV, nail the interview. Being ACCA part qualified is something that A, people can't take away from you, and B, is accepted everywhere. So like go into it with confidence. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said. And I think also looking back, I think it's never been a better time to get yourself that foot in the door, because when I was going through my qualifications and trying to get my first couple of jobs and all that sort of stuff, I was always limited to my location, my geographical location, who was around me. But nowadays you can get jobs with anyone. You know, we've certainly looked at the possibility of opening doors to, doesn't matter where you're from in the UK, we can accommodate, we can work with. And I think a lot of accounting practices are going down that route. So, you know, you're going to have a whole lot more options than you've ever had before. And I think that's only going to be beneficial to you and your progression as well. And I also, you know, I know that there are a lot more support out there in terms of getting people over the line in ACCA and ACA qualifications, whereas before some of the smaller practices would really struggle to be able to find the costs and find the finances and everything else involved. But now there's so much more support packages, so there are more part qualified positions than ever before, because smaller practices can and can utilize a support so that they can get the right people through and get those qualifications done. So, you know, you should be in a really good position to be able to get your foot in the door. And once you're in the door, you world's your oyster.
And I definitely think that this question and the previous question really touches on, like, there's so much fear in the accountancy space on like not being able to get a job, and I guess a lot of it probably comes from firsthand experience. But I would really hope that like the message that Aaron and I consistently are trying to get across is a very positive one on like future prospects, the way that the industry is going, and actually just really showing that there are transparent, accepting, and like flexible business owners out there that really want to be able to find a way to give people experience in a way that's not like that we're not profiting from it. Like when we take people on for work experience, we're not like rubbing our hands together thinking like this is free labor. We're thinking about how we can develop, invest our time within that individual, help them grow, and actually that as a result will grow our business naturally. And yeah, I would just say that there is a lot of fear in the industry about not being able to land a job. And I'd say both from Aaron and me, we would really try and change that and let you know that it's not all terrible, and that actually getting a job is very much within your control. And there are lots and lots of things, ways to fill the gaps of experience that you might not have. And you can do all of those things for free as well. Like it doesn't cost a lot of money to do all of these things. And even coming to online shows like this shows such a good attitude. And so like if there's ever anything that Aaron and I as business owners or just like peers or mentors can do for you, like please always do ask us as many questions as possible. Like this is here for you guys, and we wanted intentionally to create a safe place for young accountants to ask the questions anonymously that they might not want to ask anyone else. So yeah, these are all great questions, and hopefully you guys always find the answers quite positive and encouraging, because that is definitely our intention. The next question, I'm very, very excited to see Aaron's answer on this, because I feel like he probably actually knows a bit more about this than I do. Has the rise in brackets and fall of crypto had any impact on the way that you do tax returns?
Yeah, it certainly has. And I think we're going to see a lot more complications coming forward in the next couple of years. Basically, for anyone who doesn't quite realize why crypto is even worried about when it comes to tax returns, is the fact that there is a tax element to it. So it's all about how much profit you make on it, and it's called capital gains. And there's a whole risk or whole element where we've got to make sure that we account for it properly. And also how you got the crypto. So maybe if you're mining the crypto and because of the rise in popularity, more and more people are trying it. Therefore, more and more people have then got to consider about how that's going to affect their tax return. And the problem we have with this is because there's so many transactions that people are doing. The people were, especially in the height of it, were day trading their crypto. They were pushing it back and forth.
James has literally sat eating his dinner before, being like,
exactly. And let's be honest, there was a lot of people doing it, and a lot of people were benefiting quite nicely out of it. And everyone who was doing it had the reasons for it. But saying that, there's just going to be a lot more of an administration burden if you're not careful. Now, there's quite a huge amount profit-wise you need to make before you have to worry about your taxes and everything else that goes with it. There's a nice kind of allowances that are going to go with it. But that being said, that if you're anywhere near those allowances, or if you've bought and sold any other capital items throughout the year, then yeah, we're going to see a lot of people having to provide quite a lot of data. And from what we've seen as well so far, is because there's so many different platforms where you can buy and sell, and there doesn't seem to be one platform that rules them all at the moment, which is the whole point of crypto. It's all about trying to not be ruled by one kind of company. Then every single platform has a different way of reporting it, has a different way of understanding it, and everything else. We tried to build spreadsheets and templates that we could give to clients to automatically track it for them and everything else, and they've been quite successful, but at the same time they're constantly being updated because the platforms are changing. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think we're definitely going to see a lot more administration regarding the impact for tax returns, but from a client's point of view, we're just going to try and ask them as much as possible to kind of do most of that collating for us, and then we'll be able to record it for them. So have you had any kind of interaction with clients?
Yeah, and I'm just going to say, actually, it's all about like asking the right questions. Like, it's our job as an accountant to make your life as a client as easy and as straightforward as possible. And if you have innocently bought some cryptocurrency without realizing that there could be a future capital gain, it's our job as accountants to respond to the current climate, the current market, what's happening in the world. And one of those things this year is people are investing in cryptocurrency. So each year, when we ask you those set of questions that we need answers to in order to pull together your tax return, like, we need to add a question this year, which is like, have you purchased and sold any cryptocurrency? And yeah, I would just almost, if you have heard this and you're hearing it for the first time, almost lean into your accountant, really answer all of the questions that they ask you, be forthcoming. It's our job to help you, but it is also our job to guide you, so that if you have bought something and you're actually not sure of the implications, really do ask us. It's our job to like be able to guide you through that process. So I think as well, it's as a young, excited accountant, like, it's really cool to see this sort of stuff come through land on your desk. It's really, really cool to see the industry respond to things like this and to make it extra, it's making small business owners or like personal tax clients, people are making some really good money from it, and it's really cool to see. And like, as somebody that both Aaron and I are both really passionate about, like, having lots of different revenue streams and diversifying your income, and so actually to be able to see on paper what's happening to people and the capital gains that they have been able to make, it's pretty cool. So
yeah, it certainly is. I think it just shows as well how we're always evolving as accountants. Like, who would have known 2 years ago that this set of tax returns would be as complicated as they are, because we've got crypto, we've got SEIS, and there's all these manner of different changes that are happening. But as an accountant, we've just got to adapt, and we've just got to make it so that our clients can get us that information as straightforward as possible. I know myself that there's nothing worse than getting these checklists and having to go through and tick them off and everything, but they're there for a reason. And we just want to try and find ways to make it as straightforward as possible for clients. So we'll keep adapting ourselves. We'll keep making it so it's easier and better for clients to get that data, and so we can be more accurate as well. So yeah, it's for everyone.
Amazing. Okay, so question number 3 is, I'm currently studying level 3 bookkeeping and level 4 self-assessment tax return with the goal to start earning an income from home and continue to study. How do I decide which qualification route to choose afterwards between ACCA and CIMA and all of the others? It seems to be a minefield with options. I'm looking to specialize in construction or the agricultural field. So I think the first thing to say is, I feel like there might be an issue around practicing certificate. So for anyone that doesn't know, in order to run an accountancy practice, you have to have a practicing certificate, which is a certificate that comes from your governing body of which you are qualified, and they give you permission to act as an accountant. And so if you're still studying, it might be quite difficult to get a practicing certificate. I know some people maybe get a ICB practicing certificate, which is like a bookkeeping practicing certificate, but it is, I think, very difficult to obtain a practicing certificate while you're still studying for obvious reasons. It's because you're still learning. So that's the first thing. But if we just move on to how to decide which qualification or route to choose between ACCA and CIMA, it feels like what you're trying to do is to earn income from home working as a self-employed accountant. And so with that in mind, just really quickly, the difference between ACCA, ACA, and CIMA. CIMA is the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and management accountants generally work in industry. And that doesn't sound like something you'd like to do. Then there comes ACCA versus ACA, which is really interesting because our practice is ACCA and Aaron's practice is ACA. And do you want to run through the differences? There's not too many differences, right, between the two?
No, ACCA and ACA, there isn't much difference at all, really. It's more kind of be down to, most of the time, it's down to who you are employed with at the time and what their preference is going to be. That tends to be the reason why you go down one or the other. It's really not anything more than that. Both of those will give you the same sort of opportunities. Both of them will give you the same sort of job expectations. And to be fair, there's very, very little difference between the two of them. The only thing I would say on that particular point there about ACA and CIMA and going through from there, didn't say what type of level 3 bookkeeping it is, but if the level 3 bookkeeping is with AAT, then there is a possibility to get a practicing certificate through them. So if that's not what you're studying, there might be, you might be in a position where you can move that over to AAT. That's certainly how I started. I got my AAT practicing certificate prior to getting my ACA practicing certificate because I was time barred at the time. Because even when you've got your qualifications done, both ACCA and ACA, for the practicing point of view, you're going to have to wait. Is it 2 years off the top of my head? Rings a bell, but yeah, there is a time bar and it'll keep changing. So personally, if I was in this position now and working from home was such an importance, I might consider level 3 bookkeeping, AAT, if that's applicable to you.
Yeah. Amazing. And then in terms of specializing, they want to specialize in construction or agriculture. Any tips on how to create a niche or like how to attract certain customers?
First of all, both of those niches are brilliant niches to get into. Like, both construction and agriculture have so many different kind of elements that could cause some issues. Construction definitely lately, with all the different changes to VAT and the way that CIS has been dealt with and the way that we want to be keeping on top of those sort of statutory requirements and everything else that's with that, you definitely can get yourself a specialism there that's going to work really well. And the software helps you a lot lately. So to help you run those business or run the client's books for you. And agriculture as well, it's one of those where there's not enough specialism out there. So if you can kind of get yourself involved in that, you do need to have a background in agriculture though, because you're going to have to understand why you even need to worry about the stock of animals and why that can affect it and everything else, and what the difficulty for clients are going to be. So, you need to kind of understand that one more, in my mind, in terms of been there, done that, kind of understood what's happening on.
Yeah, the first time I saw a sheep on a fixed asset register was a wild day.
What's going on here? So both of them are, and I think there is definitely going to be opportunities for you, and it's good to have that niche as well, and have that opportunity to kind of to go into them and understand them. And from what I could tell from this this question here, you'll kind of probably be starting out more of the bookkeeping side, and maybe leverage off a local accountant to do the rest of it for you as you build it up. I know you, Rachel, you've got quite a lot of good stories, haven't you, about bookkeepers in your local area who you guys trust, you guys use, and you both work together with each other, don't you?
Yeah, so we form partnerships with local bookkeeping individuals, practices, anywhere on the spectrum. I think historically, I feel like there's sometimes a bit of like, I've definitely encountered almost like trust issues between bookkeepers working with accountants. I think historically bookkeepers have seen it as like an accountant is basically just a shark swimming, trying to like get access to all of your clients, whereas we really love the collaborative, open working relationships with local bookkeeping practices to help them firstly pitch for bigger jobs. So if they encounter a client who would really like tax returns or some capital gains work done or year-end accounts, and under your practicing certificate and practicing license as a bookkeeper, you're unable to provide those services. Actually, if you're not partnered and not collaborating with an accountant, you have to turn the work down. Whereas actually, if you do have an accountant that you can go to and lean on and say, like, how much would you charge to do this if I was doing the bookkeeping? They can then pitch for bigger work, bigger jobs, and take on more clients. And those are the clients you want, right? The big ones.
Yeah.
And also in terms of like supporting them, we are really, really able to provide that sort of like all-inclusive. It's any question they encounter, they have someone to lean on, which as a business owner is vital. But as a business owner that works in this industry, it's so important. And we really encourage a lot of the bookkeepers to, like, if they've never done payroll before, we'll work with them to make sure that they do understand how to do it, so they can then offer it as a service rather than us just taking the fees off them. So like there's real opportunities both for bookkeepers and accountants to collaborate with each other from a support network and a increasing your revenue perspective. There's so many different opportunities.
Yeah, and it gives you confidence as well, doesn't it, that client's been looked after, and when it comes to doing statutory accounts, statutory whatever you need to do for them, the data's going to be clean, concise, and it's going to help you be able to give the right advice, doesn't it? So yeah, I think for this particular person, first of all, hats off to you for wanting to go off on your own. I think that's definitely a massive benefit, and hopefully you can find yourself some clients that you'll be able to take on under your wing. But yeah, do think about partnering up with another accountant, especially in the early stages. Get yourself that element there, because also you're going to come into questions and stuff you won't know about because you're still studying, and having that opportunity to have that chat with them will be really useful to them. So.
I feel like we speak about it every week, but like even just this relationship between Aaron and I has definitely saved my sanity. Like we ask each other so many questions, like from what software do you use for this to like, have you ever had a client that does this, or like, what are you doing about cryptocurrency? Like they're all really good conversations to have, and that's why collaboration far exceeds competition.
Yeah, what was it the other day? I just sent you this acronym that I got asked from a client. I was like, any ideas? Help.
I was like, what is this?
But you need to have that reassurance, don't you? That it's not just you that's doesn't know what's going on. There's an underlying issue.
No one knows what's going on.
Okay, shall I take the next question? So the next question is a real big, long question. So I'm hoping you're sat down and ready. So this person has asked, QuickBooks Online all zero. Rachel,
I'm just gonna leave now. I'm leaving. How much YouTube content can we make from one question? I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, that's what it should be, really, shouldn't it?
It is a good question. My answer changes daily. I absolutely love both, and I almost have an answer as an accountant, and I have an answer as a small business owner, because I actually think they're two different things. And both Aaron and I work. You do work with Xero, don't you? Yeah.
I've got a lot of Xero clients, yeah.
We both work with both software, and I would actually say it's a sign of a really good accountant that they work with both. So many people close themselves off to one software, mainly because the softwares really encourage us as accountants to do that, is the first thing to say. And so I do understand why people do it. Yeah, so lots of softwares really encourage us as practice owners to only use their software, and you can actually be like financially incentivized to do that. But it's really lovely as a practice owner to be able to give the flexibility, firstly, and also not to have to say to a client, like, if you want to work with us, you're going to need to change like your internal processes. Like, I don't know how that conversation works between an accountant and a small business owner. And if we worked with one, we would literally be cutting off 50%. Like, it is literally 50-50 for us. And whenever it's skewed, the next month it goes back the other way again. And it just, yeah. In terms of a software perspective, I feel like we have exhausted this topic, and like Aaron and I have collaborated on some really, really cool content where I fight Zero's corner and Aaron is the very famous QuickBooks chap. So we've probably got about 2 hours worth of arguments recorded on the internet fighting this. I'd say it's an interesting question to talk about from a practice owner's perspective. My favorite thing is free stuff. So like the only thing better than a sandwich is a free sandwich, right? Like, it's the only reason anyone goes to like networking events. I must have like something brand. Yeah, look, here's my my Zero branded phone charger. Everyone in our office has like Zero branded bottles. Yeah, so I like, from a practice owner's perspective, they do kind of compete with each other on free stuff. I know that Zero are currently running Zero are currently running a scheme where, as a practice owner, any client that you take on between the 5th of May to the 31st of January, you can get a free cake kit sent to their house, which is really, really cool. So as long as they're on Zero and you took them on between that time frame, you can import a list of the people's names and addresses that you want it sent to, and you can send your clients a free cake. So there's stuff like that. They're almost so competitive that as an accountant, you can leverage that to your advantage to improve your client experience. So like, and your internal team's experience. So every time that we take on a new member of staff, we tell Zero and QuickBooks that we're taking on a new member of staff. And so we are able to put together like a new team member welcome pack that has like a phone charger, a Zero pair of socks, like the QuickBooks Online stuff. We've got the QuickBooks Online picnic rug, and yeah, there's just some really, really fun stuff that you can leverage to almost improve the perception of your practice in a really light-hearted way. Yeah, sorry, I've definitely waffled on this, but I think it is important to speak about this topic from our side, because that's something that we've never done before, and they do both compete very heavily with each other to not only be the software of choice for business owners, but to also be the software of choice for practice owners. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, QuickBooks Online next. No, I'm joking. No, I think one of the things that we definitely found in the content that we did was that every time we got to the end of it, although one did slightly win over the other, we both agreed, and it's right, that they're both really high quality pieces of software, and that's good for both of them. You need that. You need the fact that both of them are constantly trying to outdo one another so that you get the best experience for your client and for the practice. One thing I would definitely say, though, is that I don't think it's a question of QuickBooks or Zero. I think it's QuickBooks Zero versus the rest. And I think that's where you've kind of got to be at the moment. As long as you are in QuickBooks or Zero or both, then you're going to be absolutely fine. But if you're starting to kind of try and put all your eggs into one of the others, then you might find yourself falling behind, which isn't what anyone wants.
I could literally talk about this topic. I'm going to spill some tea. I saw online earlier today, an accountant posted that they got sent like a big welcome pack for exclusively agreeing to only work with.
So the same one. Yep, carry on.
Another software that is not QuickBooks or Zero and is branded green, and the name rhymes with page. Yeah, rage is a better word. And yeah, it was like this big like Fortnum and Mason welcome pack, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. But like, it doesn't matter what's inside the hamper. It is not worth the value of me losing literally every single prospect that reaches out to me. And it just, I can't even, we're just incentivized so much to exclusively partner with these people. And for us as practice, I remember telling Aaron at the time, the same brand reached out to us to do some collaboration on social media. And because we openly speak about and collaborate with both QuickBooks and Xero, they point blank refused to work with us unless we took down all of the content that we'd ever collaborated with QuickBooks and Xero before they would partner with us. And I actually replied saying, like, just to be clear, this is what you're asking me to do, because this is mental. And like, they never replied. They never replied to me. But it's bad business. I don't understand how they can do it.
It is. And I think the other thing that we've got to kind of remember as well is what's next. Like, we're quite happy at the moment with where the software is, but both of the solutions are going very heavily into, well, let's do account production, let's do tax returns, and let's do everything else. So yeah, I think, you know, great that we've kind of both got some software now that we can help clients, but we've got to keep an eye on the future. And I think both Xero and Sage have got a great roadmap ahead of them. Like, you know,
sorry, did you say Sage has a great roadmap?
Sorry, did I say Sage? Oh, sorry. Xero.
Rage. He said rage.
Have a great roadmap ahead of them.
And I think what is important to say, to be really, really clear, like the reason Aaron and I wouldn't engage in situations like that is for our clients. Like every single decision that you make in terms of collaboration, partnerships is all about extending your service offering to your client. Like I'm not going to exclude the two biggest names in the industry for whatever financial gain I'm being incentivized with, because it's just not, does not make sense for my clients. No. Not going to do it.
And it's not for just now, it's for the future, isn't it? And you want to protect that. So yeah. And you know, we just really, for us, we just want to be able to work with that software that gives us the opportunity to help clients. So that's why we've chosen what we've chosen. But saying that, you know, if a client comes along on any piece of software, we're not going to turn them away. But sometimes it's better for them to find an accountant who is more in line with that software, you know, and that's a frank conversation we'll have them. Before we move on, though, we do have a few interactions just to bring up. Shout out to Ali. Hello, Ali. How's it going? Who even talks about Albert as well. So Albert gets his first shout out on there. So thank you for that one. And then Ashley puts a great point up here. I think we've covered. Don't you think that if you specialize in just one software, then you are a real expert? It's a great point there.
That is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is right. Like, you know, I my persona online is that I am a QuickBooks expert. And I like to think that that is correct, but I still have to understand and know Xero inside out as well, because, you know, if not, I won't be able to support my clients, because I'm very much on the right. I want to put the right tool for my client. So if Xero is the right tool for my client, then that's the one I would push him towards. So definitely. Brilliant. Who's on to the next question? I've lost track. Oh no, it's you, isn't it? Go for it.
It is me. This one is really good. I'm excited for this one. So this is, how has social media changed the way you run your business?
That is a great question. Now, thankfully for this question, we have an actual expert in the room on accounting social media, and then you've just got the apprentice. That's me, by the way.
Albert, you're up. We're going to talk about TikTok.
But no, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, I'm still learning like every day about how social media is such a big importance to it, and how it can be done. Because I'll always remember being told at one point, don't worry about Instagram. Instagram's got nothing to do with accountancy. Stay away from that. Facebook, maybe you might have a few kind of points to make on there, but I wouldn't worry too much. LinkedIn's great, but you know, you've got to know how to use it, and then just stick on Twitter and you'll be absolutely fine. And that was the advice I got back in the day. And
who told you that? You should go back to that person. That was bad advice.
But I mean, I suppose the bit to take from there is it does evolve. Like, yes, at the moment, Rachel is absolutely killing it on Instagram, and that's the platform of choice for her, and she's doing really, really well from it. But who's to know that next time line, you know, in 6 months' time, there won't be another platform that we've all got to migrate to and start using, and we've got to adapt. It's the way it is, isn't it? But it is right. It's social media, the way you run your business. It's everything now needs to flow through it in some way or another. You need to have some sort of presence, and a lot of it is about, because we're doing a lot of work remotely for people, either via forced to because of the fact that the pandemic, or because we want to improve our networking and we want to get ourselves out there and we want to help as many clients as possible and we want to, give that advice to as many clients as we possibly can, then social media is that best way of building that trust, isn't it? And building that rapport with someone before you've even spoke to them on the phone. What I absolutely love, because my social media platform of choice is YouTube. I love YouTube. I'm more than happy to keep putting stuff on there and content on there. And for me, the biggest benefit I'll ever have from that is I can pick up a phone call or start a call with a new client, a potential new client, and they already know who I am. They've already made their assumption of what my expertise or what I can bring to it is. So we can get rid of all that bit and then we can start talking about the really enjoyable stuff, which is, right, what does your business do? What do you want to do with your business? How have you got to where you are now? What do you want to do in 5 years' time? And it just means that we can use that time far more effectively and we can kind of push it from there. So that's where I've seen social media being a huge, huge impact in terms of just letting me just do what I enjoy doing. And that's getting to the crux of talking to clients. What about you, Rachel?
100%. In any sales funnel, regardless of the industry, customer awareness is the first stage for anyone, and social media provides us with an immediate way to not only connect with people, but like Aaron said, people already are bought into you. Like, they know who you are. They love seeing insight into your life. They feel like they know you. You feel like you know them. Like, I don't go onto a new prospect call without looking at their website, Instagram, YouTube channel before I speak to them, because it's really important that I leverage that data and information backwards too, and I need to know who they are. So not only does it provide us with a platform to really showcase the more intimate side of our business and who we are, rather than just a website, which is the glossy side, it also provides us with a way to keep people up to date with who you are and what you're doing. So quite often, like, clients feel like they are in touch with me all the time because they see us on social media. Like, they see us online, they see what we're up to. So when you speak to them, they are always in touch with you, because so often, sometimes clients don't want to be contacted by you all the time. Like, they want it to be an annual relationship. They just want to file their accounts at the year end and get it done because they don't like finance. And that's fine. But actually, in between, that means that they are so often in touch with you. So not only can you use it as a way to generate income and, make more sales, reach more people, and be the accountant of choice for your customers, but you can also keep up to date with everybody else. And I think I'm not sponsored by social media, but it's made such huge changes in what we do as a business, the volume of clients that we're able to serve, the people that we're reaching, and really understanding how to do it in the right way. Like, different social media platforms have different feels around them, and like something that Aaron and I speak about quite a lot is LinkedIn is quite a bit of a hotspot for accountants on social media. And for me, like for our business, I think sometimes that is quite a toxic culture, and sometimes it feels very, very competitive. And I think Aaron and I's relationship is a pure example of collaborating and how collaboration can really leverage it. Like, Aaron really, really encouraged me to move over to YouTube and start creating content over here. And I really encourage Aaron to create more of a presence on Instagram. And it's incredible. And to be able to like guide each other through that journey has been amazing in itself. So social media is an absolute must for us. Absolute must. It's helped our business. Like, this time last year, we were a one-man band. We had 50 clients. We've just sent an offer letter out to our 6th member of staff, and we're about to hit 300 clients. And that's been in 12 months. And that is predominantly all through leveraging Instagram as the platform of choice. We've now started to get leads and inquiries coming from YouTubers. And I'd say one of the things we haven't touched on yet is actually using platforms like YouTube to create a bank of information for potential clients. So before anybody comes to a meeting with me, they get sent a link to our pre-meeting landing page, which covers off loads of frequently asked questions like, what's the difference between a sole trader and a limited company? How can I pay myself? How do I move from a sole trader to a limited company? And this is all content that not only we're putting out to grow our platform and grow our following, but we're also putting it out with dual benefit to supporting and guiding future clients and educating them, and it just doesn't have any downsides. Not one.
No.
It's amazing.
Well put. And also, it's great to see your clients as well benefit from it as well, isn't it? And like, there's nothing better than, you know, you get on a call with a client and they're suddenly talking about needing to be VAT registered because they've put one campaign out on Instagram and it's just blown up for them. And it's such a...
I honestly, the other day, I sent James a screenshot. I posted a reel on Instagram, and within 2 hours had 7 people book meetings.
Because of that one reel. Exactly.
Because of the reel. And you can literally, from the website, you can track them from Instagram to the landing page, book a meeting with Rachel, booked. And it just, for people that don't see that and don't see that workflow and process, then more for us, Aaron, more for us.
well, also, it's not too late as well, as there's more than enough out there, and there's more enough growth and reach. And, you know, doesn't matter how many followers you have now, you're going to still get more going forward. And, you know, it's just start now, isn't it? And yeah, we'll continue on the LinkedIn page as well, because we know there's ways to make that better, isn't there? But yeah, let's look at all social platforms and keep them going. Cool. Apart from TikTok, we talked about the other day, is
TikTok. I just don't understand it.
Well, you put it perfectly last time. So was it 2 weeks ago when you talked about how the fact that what was the general age group? Is it?
Yeah, it's literally 50% of TikTok users are
16,
too young to require a tax return.
Yeah.
So I can blame it on the data. That's why I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah. And what we say about Twitter, are we staying away from it, or we still just, because all I ever do is just copy over.
Twitter's intense. It and this is what I mean about they all feel different. Every single platform feels different, and I just don't like the way Twitter's, oh god, I don't know. Again, I think it has a level of toxic nature to it that it just, I'm not, as somebody that has to be quite self-aware of your mental well-being at all times, Twitter is just not somewhere I'm going to put myself for fun.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Brilliant. Okay, final question then to you, Rachel, is MTD something we should be aware or worried about? Keep seeing it in my news feeds.
Okay,
MTD.
first thing.
Maybe you love MTD first.
First thing is, it's really great news that you're seeing it in your newsfeed. That means you're following some really cool content creators who are putting it in your newsfeed for a reason. Just for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, MTD is making tax digital, and it's basically a roadmap that started in, I think, 2013 or 14, and it's HMRC's journey to getting everybody really that uses an online tax service to submitting and preparing information in a digital way. So, Aaron, whereabouts on the roadmap are we at the moment?
Oh, well, already we are in MTD for VAT, which basically means if you've got to file a VAT return, you should be doing it via MTD, which in simple terms means you're filing it via software. If you're not filing via software, in fact, HMRC have prevented you from filing it via software any other way. So if you're not filing via software, then you're not MTD compliant, and you've only got a year left to go until you are. You have to have everything by MTD. And then coming up is the real big one. So in a year and a bit's time, we are going to go for MTD for self-assessment, which really does change everything. It's one of those where we go from all being comfortable of submitting one tax return a year to suddenly having to submit 5 tax returns in a given tax year on a quarterly basis, and then a final one at the end. So it's gonna definitely change a lot in terms of what we do. And again, you have to use software, so that's the big crux of it. And where that's going to really affect is going to be your landlords and your people who have just inherited a house for the first time, or you've got whatever the situation is going to be. Suddenly you've got to do a tax return, or be self-employed, or have this requirements to file MTD, and it's gonna be an interesting one, isn't it, going forward? So yeah, it's definitely be aware, definitely be worried, because it's going to change quite a lot. But just keep news. I mean, I did a video the other day, and it's done quite well in terms of why MTD shouldn't be something we're scared of. We should embrace it. So yeah, that should be a good starting point for you.
Yeah, I think like with anything, there are reasons this is happening, and they are all steps in the right direction. It's all about really encouraging people to lean into the information that is available to you as a business owner to make really great, sound, solid decisions. As always, if MTD is something that scares you, having an accountant can really help you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, do you think MTD will change the way people work with accountants? Do you think
Yeah.
more people will want an accountant because they don't want to worry about MTD?
I think so, and I think people are going to be more kind of worried about pressing that submit button because suddenly it's quarterly, suddenly it's more often, suddenly there's everything else that goes with it. So I think so. I think it will, and if it's not, then it's up to us accountants to make sure that people are submitting the right information so that they're not going to cause themselves any issues. So yeah, it's going to be a big change, but it is a change for the better. And one of my best bits of little tidbits of news that might come out of it, and we don't know yet, but there is a potential for the 5th of April to finally be gone. So moving from 5th to maybe 31st of March, and even talking about maybe 31st December as well. So it could be a whole new tax year going forward, of which I'm up for. Like 5th of April has been one of the worst things to work with in a long time. So
yeah, it's about really old calendars, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
We literally this year, one of our trainees asked us, and we were like, I'm not sure I remember the answer. So we all did loads of research on like why it is the 5th of April.
Might be the only thing that's older than debit and credit itself, maybe.
Yeah,
it's 5th of April.
Yeah, the answer is it's not an interesting story. It's just the 5th of April.
Yeah, exactly. But no, hopefully, fingers crossed, we finally abolish the 5th of April, which will be good news for everyone. Maybe 31st of December will be a better year end, but who knows? But whatever happens, we're ready for it, and the software that we use is all ready for it as well. So thanks for saying that. If anyone out there is listening and can get me in on the MTD beta, that'd be great, because I'm still fighting my corner to get myself in that MTD beta.
Hashtag justice for Aaron.
Yeah, I've tried everyone, including Rage, and yeah. So yeah, but we'll find one. I just want the content. That's all. Cool. I think that's it. I think we've gone through our mailbag today.
Amazing.
Just in time as well. We've literally only got a few minutes left. So brilliant. All right. So everyone, thank you very, very much for your questions. If you're listening via podcast, why don't think about giving us a follow? So next time we're live, you can join in, just like we've already brought up a few of them. I'll just bring another shout out to a couple of them. Ali was here, Ashley was here, and we had a whole load of others as well. So why not come and join us next time in 2 weeks' time? We've got a date for that, Rachel. I'm going to pass that over to you in a minute. Rachel, when are we back?
Yeah, so we are back on the 29th of July. So don't forget, if something we've spoken about today has really prompted you, you've got a burning question, please do submit it. We've got a brand new link, which Aaron's popped in the chat. So don't forget to have a look at the link, have a explore of that page. Don't forget to submit your questions in the chat.
Perfect. So, Rachel, have you got any videos or anything planned for this week? Any social content that we should be looking forward to?
Yeah. So, firstly, I'm trying something different on Reels over the next couple of weeks. I'm trying to be more like the kids, and I'm doing more transitions and stuff, and trying to make it a bit more like educational. So to teach people something with a reel rather than just being hilarious, which is currently my niche. So I'm trying to be more educational with reels. I am currently, as we speak, recording a day in the life of today. So everybody say hi. You're on my YouTube channel as well. And Aaron and I are meeting in real life this weekend. We're going for dinner tomorrow with both of our plus ones. And then Saturday, we are creating some content together in person for the first time. So I'm really, really excited for that.
Definitely.
What about you?
So I am going to infiltrate an enemy. I'm doing a day in the life of infiltrating an enemy accountancy firm. So yeah, keep that one under wraps. We'll see how that one goes. If I can get some juicy gossip from there. But actually, no, I'm thinking I did a reacts to video, and I quite like that one. It's nice. I'm kind of changing my kind of cadence in the way that I'm putting out videos. And reaction videos are really quick and easy to do. So yeah, I might be putting a few more of them out there because I quite like the idea of reacting to what other of our wonderful YouTube community is doing, especially in the world of accounts, finance, and everything else. And I think if we can do a reactions video to some of them, get some of them more out there, get some more subs for them as well, I think it's all for the better. So yeah, I'm gonna put my hand at another reaction video soon.
Amazing.
Wonderful. So Rachel, I think that's just for me to say goodbye. So goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from Albert, and it's a goodbye from me.
Brilliant. Cheers, everyone.
Bye, guys.
We will see you in 2 weeks' time. Can't wait for it. Again, I haven't got the outro ready.
Aaron can't roll the outro.
We're rolling now. Cheers, all.
Bye.